former President Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina. This has been a contested state. Vice President Harris went there many, many times. Democratic governor in the state of North Carolina. You saw former President Trump go there a number of times, about 4 times in the past 2 weeks to campaign. The campaign always felt that they were in good position in North Carolina. Now we can project that he will win the state of North Carolina and its 16 electoral votes. The Fox News decision desk can now also predict that Vice President Harris will win New Mexico. That was a tight race. It had tightened in recent days, but Vice President Harris will win New Mexico. So as we look at the race to 270, the electoral votes needed, it now stands at 232 for former President Trump and 198 for Vice President Harris.
That makes North Carolina the state in the battlegrounds that Trump has won 3 times. It was the only battleground state that he locked down in 2020. So obviously a relief at the Trump campaign that he has kept that one in his column as well tonight as we continue to move on.
Fox News can now project that the state of Georgia will go to former President Donald Trump. This was a really hard fought battle. If you think about Georgia, loses it last time to President Biden by 11,779 votes. For some reason, that number sticks in my mind. And this is a big win. He went there, campaigned there, and so did Vice President Harris numerous times, thinking that Georgia could stay in the Democratic column.
You know, he had a difficult relationship with Governor Brian Kemp. If you remember, 4 years ago, after losing Georgia, they tried to salvage 2 Senate races in Georgia. A month later, special elections. That didn't go well either. So this is a very big win for former President Trump to, have this redemption in Georgia tonight.
So now we are at electoral college vote at 248 for Trump and 216 for Harris.
All right, we are back, and that is the jubilant scene. Everybody seems pretty happy at Trump headquarters, and what we're seeing is movement from the Mar-a-Lago Trump group, including former President Trump, who is in a very good position to be the next president this evening as well, is heading over to the Trump headquarters, where there are a few thousand people who have gathered for this evening. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Obviously, when he shows up there, we will take you there live.
Well, those guys had 2 Make America Great hats on.
I saw someone with a really large one. Yeah.
As we look now at what we have, Pennsylvania. Is this a call, ladies and gentlemen? We are now projecting that Donald J. Trump will win the state of Pennsylvania. Former President Donald J. Trump will win the state of Pennsylvania, and thereby he is on his way to becoming the 47th president of the United States. With this, the path for Vice President Harris has narrowed, and there's really no path going forward. It's vanished. This is historic. Everything was about Pennsylvania. Everything from the beginning was about Pennsylvania. Now, former President Trump will win the state of Pennsylvania, and we can make that call, the 19 electoral votes. That puts him at 267, not officially over the 270, but the path that it takes to get to 270, he is well on his way to becoming the 47th president of the United States in what is going to be the biggest political phoenix from the ashes story that we have ever seen, ever. I mean, I'm going to say it's more than Grover Cleveland in
1892.
Yeah,
1892.
I don't think that Grover Cleveland was not the subject of a Russia investigation, 2 impeachments, 2 assassination attempts.
Indictments.
They have indictments, 91 indictments, convictions, and there is almost nothing that hasn't been thrown at this former president, and his tenacity in wanting to go back and run again, which he announced immediately after he lost in 2020. This is a huge historic moment in the United States of America as the former President Trump is closing in with just a few electoral votes away now from clinching 270 as Pennsylvania is called for Donald Trump.
We're looking live, 1:21 a.m. in the morning at Trump headquarters. The cheers coming up. We're told the former president is there, as well as J.D. Vance, Senator J.D. Vance. They are getting ready to hear from former President Donald Trump. Again, at 267, not there yet, but looking at where that vote is in Wisconsin, where the vote is in Michigan, where the vote is in Nevada and in Arizona. There is no path, Brit Hume, for Vice President Harris, and just 30,000 feet. What this means.
Well, I'm old enough to remember when Richard Nixon was declared dead in 1962. Remember the famous speech he said, "You don't have Nixon to kick around anymore." No one could have imagined after that failed race for governor that he could have come back in 1968 and been elected president. That was a hell of a comeback. This, to my eye, was a man who was faced with many more slings and arrows than Nixon had been at that time, hated though he was by the Democrats. This surmounts that. This is an extraordinary comeback.
The Fox News decision desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
The former president's comeback will be complete with a win in Wisconsin, a state that he narrowly lost 4 years ago. He is now the second president in U.S. history to win non-consecutive terms. The first was Grover Cleveland in the late 1800s. Senator J.D. Vance will become the 50th vice president of the United States. Voters express deep frustration with the Biden administration, and former President Trump and the future President Trump overperformed in urban areas, particularly with men, proving that the strategy that they doubled and tripled down on over the course of the last few months absolutely succeeded and brought him back to the White House.
47th president of the United States. Former President Trump now defeats Vice President Kamala Harris, who entered this race just over 100 days ago. And for Democrats, they were projecting the possibility of running the table with battleground states. David Plouffe with the Democratic campaign of Harris campaign suggested that just yesterday. Now it is possible that Donald Trump runs the table with these states and builds on a big landslide electoral win. We don't know where the popular vote is going to finish out, but we do know that he will be going back to the White House. And with him, Brit Hume, will be a lot of changes because he will have been there once and will know what he wants to do.
You know, he often accounts for the fact that he had so much turnover in his first term, in his term as president, by the fact that he really know Washington and he was new to this realm that he had come to win the presidency in, and he promises us that now he knows whom he wants to hire. Now he knows the kind of people he wants to have around him. A lot of people are saying that means a lot of very experienced people around Washington will be ruled out, and maybe they will. But it's going to be very interesting to see the kind of people he reaches out to and reaches out for in the days and weeks ahead as he.
And you can see the joy on all these people's faces.
An unprecedented campaign concludes with Donald Trump once again becoming president-elect. And just moments ago, the Fox News decision desk can project that President-elect Trump will, in addition to everything that he's got so far, claim Michigan. It completes his sweep of the 3 blue wall battlegrounds, as he did back in 2016. Trump recapturing the White House after a strong performance in all the battleground states that could potentially see him win all 7 of them, though 2 remain uncalled at this point.
President-elect Donald Trump now announced winning Nevada. The state's been called by Fox News, putting him at over 300 electoral votes. He flipped the state he lost in 2020 and 2016.
So Trump is now edging closer to an absolute clean sweep of battleground states. He currently holds a 6-point lead in Arizona, which is the only state that has not been called.
It's got to be coming soon.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Nevada Democrat incumbent Jackie Rosen has been reelected, fending off a close challenge from combat veteran Sam Brown.
Republicans are now in striking distance of a House majority with nearly 24 races still too close to call. The GOP has 212 seats and needs to win 6 more